and welcome on the spot with David Rodgers. I am Mr. Friday Night and the show pony David Rodgers, alongside the color commentator, the Byron Bagwell, along with the dancing destroyer, the king of steam, Super Dave Holland. Producing the show. These make for great shows.
Yes,
man.
they do.
They make for great shows. Great to have you along. I do have Austin Stevens in the house. God bless us all. He's going to give us a weather report. Yeah, like Byron always said.
You're stealing my line now?
Oh, no, you can't be stealing his line. Dave, tonight's show is sponsored by Miracle Automotive and Towing. Dave said, automotive and towing. When you need automotive help, don't pray for a miracle. Call Miracle for 24-hour towing service and a full-service auto repair. Call 904-368-1114. Miracle Automotive and Towing, where miracles happen every day. Let's get the show started, as we always do, ladies and gentlemen, with our prayer, our pledge, and our patriotic quote of the night. And I hope this man does have one, which I'm sure he does. Let's bow our head and pray. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us once thank again for a wonderful and glorious day you've given us, dear Lord. Thank you for this time, as I always enjoy and always love being around our brothers. This is a brotherhood, dear Lord. And thank you for letting Mitchell Gunner join us tonight to bring us a very special show. Also, Dave Holland, keep blessing him. Keep blessing the Byron Bagwell and Austin Stevens.
Amen.
And myself and anybody that's associated with this show. As we bring this show to our viewers, our viewing audience, we bring the information for whatever it is that we're talking about, dear Lord. Let it sink into their minds, into their hearts, and let them take that information and do as they see fit, as they need to do with it. Thank you for letting us live in the greatest country in the world today, the United States of America, the most freest country, dear Lord, on the whole planet. I know we have our own issues and our own problems, dear Lord, but with your guiding hand, if we will open up our hearts and our minds and let you put your healing hand on us and your guidance, that we can become that powerful nation again, dear Lord, and let everybody look at us and going, hey, that is the country that everybody wants to resemble and be a part of. Thank you for our armed forces, dear Lord, each and every one of those men and women that are serving today and that served in the past to make this country the most freest country in the world today, dear Lord. Just keep a hedge of protection over them, whether they are here or abroad, somewhere else, that you keep them safe and bring them home to their families as they fight against domestic and international terrorism and any other threats that any other countries in this world today want to bring against us. Thank you for our first responders, each and every one of those men and women, dear Lord, that go out each and every day and put their lives, on the line as they're out there protecting us, dear Lord. Byron, if you'll finish that prayer, please.
Keep everybody in our thoughts and prayers, in your thoughts, and dear Lord, and keep everyone safe. Thank you so much for all the blessings that you give us. Thank you so much for our friends and family and our extended family of our viewership. We like to praise you in all things that you do and all things that you will do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Byron. Got a little tickle in my throat. The good Lord, I know, put that there and said, Byron, please finish up that prayer.
Finish it up.
There you go. All right. Let us stand for our pledge. I'm going to ask Mr. Dave Holland if he would lead us in our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. All right. Oh, goodness. Welcome in to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I am your host, David Rodgers, right along with the Byron Bagwell, our other host, Mitchell Gunner's in the house producing the show tonight because we have a very special guest. Dave Holland is helping him out with that as well. We will talk about what Mitchell got upcoming here in the next couple of weeks on the Spot Motorsports media page, Byron, which is just absolutely blowing up.
It's blowing up.
It's blowing up. I can't even tell numbers.
Great.
It's way. We'll talk about that. Austin Stevens is in the house as well. All right. So, Dave, if you'll go back one screen, please. So, we got the quote first, Byron.
Yeah,
we got the quote.
We got the quote.
All right, you give me the quote. Give me the quote.
1 second. You got one? Did you share with
No,
us?
no, I don't have one today. I knew you was going to be here, so I figured I'd just let you go ahead and do it.
Well, David, this is a great quote, not by one of our founders, but by a very, very important person in politics now.
Okay.
It is an absolutely great quote.
Okay.
Okay, give me just 1 second.
No problem. So while Byron's doing that, we have a special show for you tonight. I'm hoping we're going to have 2 guests on tonight. And that is, first and foremost, Mr. Larry Shannon. He should be coming on here with us in about 10 minutes, right or so, Mitchell? Roughly 10 minutes. We've got him going to be joining us through StreamYard. So, and you'll be able to see his face. You'll be able to hear what we're asking him and what he's going to be telling us. And hopefully in studio, we're going to have JD and Norman, local DJ around here, does a lot of things in Gainesville, does a lot of things in the area. Byron, he's into music setup. He's into stage setup, lighting setup, things like that. He produces music. He just does all kinds of things. Plus, he's also a singer-songwriter, something that's in common with you. So hopefully we'll have those guys on. I'll tell you right now, please share this to every page that you can or to all your friends, anybody that knows Mr. Larry Shannon. You'll want to definitely hear this interview because it's been a while since I've seen Larry.
Yeah.
Probably been a while since you have. I know Mitchell talked to him last night a little bit. Him and Mitchell go back a ways. Dave Holland says, me and Dave was talking. Dave says he believes he used to cut his hair. So this ought to be interesting to ask him about that. So what do you have for us, brother?
Brother.
Yes, sir.
My phone is acting crazy tonight.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
There. I just found it. All right. Are you ready, everybody?
I'm ready.
This is a great American.
This is a great American.
Goats are like mushrooms. If you shoot a duck, I'm scared of a toaster.
Wow.
Is that guy that is hiding all those documents that he actually was pointing the finger at Donald Trump? But he's got
Is
twice
that
as
the
much?
guy?
That is exactly right. Our president.
President Joe Biden. Nice job, Mitch. Nice job. How'd you know that, Mitch?
He watches TV.
Actually, you see that everywhere.
Yeah,
Radio,
you did. Yeah,
internet.
that's pretty good.
I don't watch too much TV.
He is.
All right, I've got one.
I've got another one.
All right,
for
I've
you.
got one.
Go ahead.
I've got one. You can only respect yourself if you respect others.
Martin Luther King.
Real close.
Is that a song?
It is not. You can only respect yourself when you respect others. Anybody watching want to take a guess?
That's not a founding father or
No.
ex-president.
Mm-mm. Y'all know him.
David Rodgers.
Yep.
That is. It is David Rodgers. That's why I said, Mitchell, you were close with Martin Luther King because, hey, I was back there with him when we went on that march. So I was actually about 5 rows back.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good.
That's not bad, is it?
No, that's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all.
You know, a lot of people, they go over to St. Augustine a lot, and they don't realize, but Martin Luther King actually lived in St. Augustine.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Matter of fact, if you go on the tour, they'll show you his house.
Yes, they will.
They will.
Yeah, they will. I mean, they had to go over there and do a show from there, or right sort of close.
That would be a great. That would
Man,
be
that would be great, wouldn't
That
it?
would be a great tribute to a great man.
Yes, it would.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
This is the actual serious one.
Okay.
Wrong does not cease to be wrong because the majority share it.
Ooh. Founding father?
No,
No.
give you this much.
Okay.
An author.
I was going to say, is he a writer? Hemingway.
Well, that's a heck of a guess,
That's
though.
a good guess. I will give everybody one more clue.
Okay.
He's not American.
Oh,
I'm going to go and say that this is Edgar Allan Poe.
That would be a good guess, but
It's not right.
Do it one more time.
he's Russian. I'll give you
Oh!
another one.
You've used another quote from this guy
Not
before.
Vladimir.
No. Gosh. You used another quote from him before.
If I give this guy, give one of these guys works, I can guarantee you, my mother will actually know who this is.
Oh, I
Not
hope
even
she
say
answers
anything
then.
else.
I hope she answers. She hadn't know yet.
All right, guys. Any other guesses?
No, I done give mine.
That would be Leo Tolstoy.
Remember a Tolstoy thing before.
Probably from War and Peace.
Yeah, I think you did. Roy Jackson and Melissa Cribbs. Real quick, I do have your gift cards. I'll get them to you. That's a $25 gift card to the Downtown Grill, as they were our last two winners. So I will make sure that I get you your gift cards.
And what's so good about that, David? You can spend that $25 wherever, however you like.
However you want. Dave,
yes.
we got a blank screen right here, brother. Because, hey, don't go anywhere. Because here comes the round table with the latest news and notes. Oh, brought to you by Harry Business in the Deerfoot Plaza, home of the $10 haircut. Call David 904-964-3338. We're way off the rails. I'm not going to go into the news here as we're going to bypass that. So this was some older news. But I do want to go, Dave, to the our trivia, and also what's the date? Because we do have a good what's the date, and everybody likes to play that before we go to our guest. But before we do that, we're going to do the weather, ain't we, David and Mitchell? Yeah, let's do the weather. And in tonight to do the weather is our very own esteemed YouTube guru, has his own weather channel and his weather podcast you do every once in a while. He is Mr. Austin Stevens. Mr. Austin Stevens, welcome into the show, sir.
Thank you, David.
Okay.
Enjoy the peace and quiet what we have, because Mother Nature's going to be setting off some fireworks tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah. And I'm talking, if the daytime heating gets to us first, we might have tornado problems.
uh-oh.
We will be watching proactively if a tornado warning gets issued for any of the counties in northern Florida, from the border down, Swanee and Union County, all the way to the coast. We will be live on Austin's Weather Service at facebook.com/Austin's Weather Service. I'm also testing gear currently, getting all comms checks from the National Weather Service. But tonight we're going to end up with lows in the mid-50s under partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, windy, may be upgraded to a high wind warning if things do change. So I'm pushing for a 35 to 50 mile an hour wind gust with sustained winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour for Bradford County and surrounding areas. Daytime highs in the lower 80s, strong storms in the afternoon. Storms will clear out tomorrow night after 8 p.m. through 10 p.m. with nighttime lows averaging about the mid-40s coming Thursday morning. Now, we look through the weekend. It'll be much better than it was on Wednesday with calm conditions. Daytime highs will average in the lower 60s with nighttime lows in the lower 40s, moderating back to the lower 70s by Sunday. Back to you, David.
Hey, Austin, real quick. I've got the map up. Can you explain what's kind of going on in Louisiana?
So
real quick?
Louisiana right now is having a bunch of tornado activity right now. I got a live stream going on behind the scenes, looking at wind velocity. This is radar through tomorrow. And this thunderstorm activity, if it holds together, will be as strong as Alabama's weather will be tonight. But you can see up in the northwest quadrant snow for Arkansas. This is the first time I've ever seen snow and tornadoes in the same radar image for the southeast United States. But
so actually, what is this, Austin? For people that live in Pascagoula, like Renee Stigall-Shaw, David Versace that lives in Biloxi, several of my classmates that still lives there, what should they be looking out for?
Any tornado warnings that do get issued for your area,
right,
please heed them and go to your safe shelters. No questions asked.
Okay.
I would recommend doing it because nighttime it is hardly, if not impossible, to see a tornado, even if it is rain wrap. I cannot stress that enough. If it's rain wrapped and it's dark, you're screwed. It's just you're not going to know it hits you until it hits you, and then it may be too late. Okay. But if you get a tornado warning tonight, please tune into your local TV channels. If you have a National Westerners radio in your house, please make sure you have it near your bedside, or keep your phone not on silent in case if a tornado emergency gets issued, and heed any tornado warnings as if there's an actual tornado coming to destroy your house.
All right.
I hate to say that, but it's already happened. We're seeing it bad in Louisiana.
All right. Thank you, Austin, for that. And we'll have that, of course, at the end of the show. We'll have a weather recap. We're going to bypass the trivia right now and what's the date. I want you to stay tuned at the end of the show because our guest is ready to come on. He is your very own Mr. Larry Shannon. Larry, good afternoon, sir. David Rodgers, Mr. Byron Bagwell, Mr. Dave Holland, Mr. Mitchell Gunner, Mr. Austin Stevens.
You guys hear me?
All right. Can you hear us now, Larry?
I can't hear you guys.
Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. Just trying to fix the audio difficulties here for just a second.
Hello?
Got us? Okay. Larry, can you hear us now? Uh-oh.
Turn the mic up.
Hang on just a second, Larry. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. We've got Larry. Shannon, can you hear us now, Larry?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right. There we go. There you go. Hey, Larry, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. Thank you for joining us and accepting our invitation to come on this spot with David Rodgers. Again, I'm David Rodgers. I know you through Facebook and some of the things that I see. I think you know Mr. Byron Bagwell, right? You went to school with Byron. He was a little ahead of you, I think. Mm-hmm. You know Mr. Mitchell Gunner, of course. We'll be talking about that. And excuse me. And how about Mr. Dave Holland? You still your hair?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Can you hear us, Larry?
Yes, I got you. Can you hear me?
It froze.
There you
go. All right. Larry, can you hear us again now? All right.
Can you hear me?
So welcome in, big guy. I'm going to start off the show. Got several viewers. If you're not tuned in, this is one of our very own homegrown here, Mr. Shannon, doing some wonderful things down south. But make sure you, everybody, all your friends, anybody that went to school with Larry, that we're on. Of course, Larry, this show will be aired after we get down on Facebook and YouTube. So you will have a chance to let some of your people, maybe that may not be watching, that will be able to watch. So I want to start off with you real quick. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you how you grew up here in Bradford and some of the things you did in school. We know you was a great football player, but some of the other things that you did as well.
Yes, make sure you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. I was born and raised in Bradford County, and my parents moved there, and we raised our family there. Me and my two older sisters all went to Bradford High School, and I graduated Bradford High in 1993, class of 1993. Just grew up in the town there, played, a lot of Little League baseball and a lot of Pop Warner football. That's kind of like the only thing to do back in those days. And just, kind of fell in love with football as I got older. Played for some really good high school coaches at Bradford High School with Coach Hurst and Coach.
And I tell you, Larry, talking about, being born and raised here and participating in sports as far as like Pop Warner and stuff like that. He was an excellent athlete in high school, played basketball, football, done a little bit of track and field. And I tell you, he's always been a great athlete.
Yeah, and not only that, I've talked to several people here in Bradford County, Larry. Not only do they remember you as a great athlete, but as a great person as well. And, I know you went to East Carolina University. And can you tell us a little bit about how you got that scholarship? Because I remember Bradford back in those days, Larry, they used to run the ball. And I know you was a receiver. So how did East Carolina get to looking at you, some of the things that you did that they showed interest in you?
Yes, it was very difficult to go to attain a college scholarship, and I had to be very patient through the process. ECU just kind of seen the potential in me. They seen my size, and then my athletic ability, and they kind of took a chance on me. And so I was truly fortunate to get a full ride to ECU. And just coach out recruiting came through the school, and and Coach Warnicki at the time was the head coach, and he kind of sold me on my ability and my just kind of like where I could get to as an athlete. And ECU definitely took a chance on me, and I went and made the most of it.
Yeah, and I tell you, what. Larry's talking about ECU. We got a couple photos there to show his ability to jump up and above, over the top of people.
Larry, who was this against? I can't tell that uniform. I almost want to say Miami, but I know that's not Miami. Is that Bowling Green possibly?
That's Virginia Tech.
That was VT. Okay.
I was about to say, that looks like Virginia Tech.
Yeah, it does. Well, it does, but those orange pants were throwing me off a little bit. Did you win that game, Larry? Did y'all win that game?
We did not. We lost a very close one. That was in 1994. That was my redshirt freshman year. That was kind of my coming out party, where I was kind of, just a kind of a freshman, just trying to find my way, and I had a really big game that game, and kind of set myself up for success in the future.
Go ahead and take it. Go ahead. If you can say it better, we can.
Yeah, and I tell you, Larry's trying to tell us a little bit about East Carolina. He's having a little problem freezing up here and there, and he was redshirted there in '94. Is that correct, Larry?
The 93 season I redshirted.
93,
and then 94 I saw the field for the first time.
So, Larry, what did you get your degree in? After you left Bradford here, I'm assuming that you had something that you were interested in. What did you get your degree in from East Carolina?
I got my undergrad in business with a concentration of, information systems in the business world. So I went, wasn't quite sure what I wanted to study, but once I got there, realized that, the School of Business was something I was interested in, and found my niche there.
Yeah, Larry, I tell you, sometimes you can't. All right. Hey, Larry, let's do this. You going to call him? We're going to call you, Larry. We're having some freeze-up problems here. It's not on your end. It's definitely on ours. We're in, you remember the old Florida Times Union building? The white building right there on 301? That's where our studio's at. Mr. Dave Holland actually bought the building, and we're trying to make a studio out of it. And sometimes the internet service ain't the greatest, if you know what I mean.
I got you.
So Mitchell's going to call you. We're going to finish this like on a phone interview. You're going to keep him on, though, right? Oh, no, you're not. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, anybody that's joining the show, we were having an interview with Mr. Larry Shannon. Unfortunately, we can't get him on video per se, but because of the internet here is ain't the greatest. So we've got him on the phone. Larry, again, thank you for joining us. If I could ask you to repeat that answer on what you went and studied and how you got into the business field.
Yeah, I got to ECU. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to, major in. And then once I got there, we had a lot of academic support there with the football team, and I knew I kind of wanted to make sure that I got a degree that could help me later on. Not knowing that I was going to get drafted by the, in the NFL, and then at that time I was not even thinking about coaching or anything like that. So, I ended up getting my bachelor's in business. And so, and then I, eventually went back to ECU later on and got my master's. But, there when I was playing, felt like the School of Business was one of the top programs, in the state of North Carolina. So I focused on that, and I was able to get my degree in 1997, 4 years after I got there.
I gotcha. All right, your career at East Carolina. We know your career here at Bradford and some of the things you did here. I know that you and Mitchell used to run track together and things like that. We've got some pictures, as you see, if you're watching the feed, Larry, where you was in the Miami Dolphin uniform here. So you got drafted by the Miami Dolphins, correct? In the 3rd round, I do believe, right?
That's correct. In 1998.
Yeah, 92nd pick. Am I right, Larry?
I think it was the
82nd pick.
Yep.
I gotcha. And we're showing some highlights here to some of the people that are watching here. Some of your
That's Coach Logan.
Hey, look at them shorts, man. My goodness, they don't even make shorts like that anymore, do they, Mitchell? But anyway, yeah. So you got drafted by the Dolphins. You played with the Dolphins, and then as much as I hate to bring this up, you got an injury there, right? You sustained a pretty nasty injury, didn't you?
I did. It was my rookie year. When you're coming into the NFL, you're just trying to establish yourself and trying to make a name for yourself. Even though it's drafted pretty high, it's still a cutthroat business. And so my rookie year, I went down with a major knee injury and had to have surgery. I tore my ACL, and ended up going on injury reserve and missing the whole entire year.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And then after that rehab, did you come back to the Dolphins, or is that when you went to the Raiders?
No, I came back. I was still under contract, and I rehabbed all year. It's kind of weird to be a part of a team, when you're injured and everybody goes to practice and you just go into the trainer's room and rehab all day. So that was, a long and grueling process. But, that knee injury took, it takes 10 to 12 months to come back from. And I think these days they come back a little bit faster now. But so I missed the whole entire year. And then I just, was under contract with the Dolphins and continue there the next season. Right.
So did you when you went to the Raiders, was that during a free agency type thing, or was it?
Yes. After the 1999 season, my contract was up, and so I was a free agent, so I could have signed anywhere I wanted. And I visited several teams. Had some conversations with the Dolphins. Wanted to stay in Miami but they were going through a coaching change.
Yep.
And then my agent had a lot of teams show some interest, so I kind of visited several teams. And at that time, John Gruden, that was his first stint with the Raiders, and I went out to Oakland and visited the Raiders, and felt like that would probably be my best bet moving forward. So I signed with the Raiders.
And how long did you play with the Raiders, Larry?
Unfortunately, I had another major injury.
Yep.
I was only there 1 year, but I totally, I had a major shoulder injury this time, and so I had surgery on the shoulder before, so it's something over my career had bothered me a little bit. But one day in practice, I kind of re-injured it pretty severely and ended up having to get some second and third opinions on it. Tried to avoid surgery, but ended up having to go ahead and go under the knife and get my shoulder fixed.
Yeah, Larry, my mind, we're all getting a little bit older, but
Speak for yourself.
Well, yeah, I know. I have a question about your Dolphin years. Did you actually get to play with Dan Marino?
I did. I sure did. So
yes.
my 2 years in Miami was Dan Marino's last 2 years playing football, and that was extra special because you never know who's going to draft you, and then so when the Dolphins drafted me, being from Florida, that's who we rooted for. That's who my father and my dad and my grandfather. I remember being a kid, and then that's all we did on Sundays was watch the Dolphins. And so having them draft me was kind of extra special.
Yes.
And then obviously getting to go down and be a teammate of Dan Marino and have him as kind of a mentor in the locker room, someone you looked up to. That was kind of extra special. Be able to go out and just you saw everything you see on TV and you hear about him, and you're kind of unsure what type of guy, what type of player he's going to be, and then he was just one of the best teammates I ever had, and really helped me out when I was injured and young and trying to just help me get through some tough times, as a young football player in the NFL. He was a big help through, at my time in Miami.
All right, Larry, I've got to ask because Byron wants to ask you, but I want to ask you first.
I did want to make one
okay,
comment.
go ahead.
Larry, there are a lot of people who throw the term GOAT out, but I honestly think you were catching passes from the GOAT. I've felt like that since I first watched Dan Marino. He is the best pure quarterback I have ever seen, and I can't imagine being in your shoes and being able to catch passes from the man on a daily basis. A rocket arm.
Was those passes as hard as everybody says, Larry?
Yes. Well, he was definitely impressive. I mean, what you think of him as a quarterback, I saw that when I saw that every day in practice.
Wow.
And he was so competitive. So he could turn it on, and he would fit a pass in the smallest little window to get it in. And he was a big trash talker to the defense. When we're you practice against each other so much that you become so competitive with one another, and so he would get really pissed off, and the fire would come on. He was at the end of his career, so his body, his legs, his lower body and everything was, he couldn't go much longer, but his arm was still there, and it was just the most impressive thing I've ever seen in my time in the NFL.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, we have our very own hometown guy, Mr. Larry Shannon. He's joining us on the Spot with David Rodgers. Sorry that we couldn't get the picture-in-picture here. Kept getting a little freeze here, but we do have him on the line. And again, Larry, I want to thank you for joining us on a real short notice, really, but want to thank you for making some time for us. I want to talk a little bit about as you went more into your adult life and got out of professional football, and I'm assuming that you went into coaching or at least teaching and then into coaching. And I know that you coach. Are you the head coach at Venice High School?
I am not.
Okay.
I decided a long time ago that, after playing for so long and getting into coaching late, that, I haven't really had any interest to be a head coach, to tell the truth.
I got you. So what do you do? Are you a coach?
Yes, I'm a coach. I've been coaching high school ball for 18 years now.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. When I got done playing in the NFL, I being injured and not play. I didn't get a chance to play in the NFL that much. Unfortunately,
Right.
when I got drafted, I thought I was going to play 10 years. And it just didn't work out that way. So when I got done playing, I wanted to be a college coach. That's something I wanted to stay in football. And I was in my late 20s, and I decided that I wanted to try college coaching. So I went back to ECU, and I became a graduate assistant coach, so kind of low man on the totem pole. And just kind of working my way, trying to learn, the coaching profession, and just trying to, earn my keep and hopefully advance in the coaching ranks. Started having a family, and things. I realized is that college coaching wasn't what I thought it was going to be. We all got fired, and so I was kind of looking for my next move, and I moved back to Florida. When I moved to Florida, I moved to Venice because that's where I had some friends that were living, and I kind of just felt like it was a good place to kind of settle down until my next move. Well, 18 years later, I'm still here.
Yeah, and by the way, I know that we was trying to get it up, but you have a beautiful family, Larry. By the way, we see pictures of your family, and you've got a young man right now that played football for Venice High School, I believe. Was he a senior this year, Larry?
He was.
Yep, and what we've seen, he's a pretty good athlete. He got some offers down there. Any place that he'd like to go?
Well, unfortunately, David, he knee injury and missed his whole entire senior year. Yeah, it was a bummer. He tore his ACL for the second time. He when he was a freshman, he had a major knee injury and had surgery and fought his way back, rehab, and battled back. And he's a young man that we all felt like would have had some offers to go play college football, but unfortunately, had an injury in practice before the first game, and then was unable to play his senior year. So that was a very devastating and tough time for us all to go through.
Yeah, I hate to hear that, and unfortunately, Larry, I wish there was something that they could do where they could get their senior years back, because we have and I know you follow tornado football as you do down there in Venice and down there in the South, where there's some very good teams. But Manny Covey, our running back that's Cincinnati commit right now, he hurt his knee in the 5th or 6th game of the season and didn't get to join us in this great playoff run that we had. And so, me and Byron seen it up close, and I know right there that that's devastating, because that's really close and personal to you.
Yeah, no doubt. It was, I've been coaching high school ball a long time. I've had some opportunities to go other places and do other things. One year, I came up to Bradford High, interviewed up there for the head coaching job. And it's something that just couldn't work out, with moving the family and everything. But, I always cared about Bradford High and the Tornadoes, and always want to see them do well.
Yeah.
So, when you're a high school coach, and you have a son that loves football, you just can't wait to coach him. And so I look forward to that time with him on the field. And unfortunately, it got cut short for us. But, he was a really good teammate and helped us. We went back to the state championship this year, and a lot of that was him just being a good leader and helping our team. Even when he was out, he did everything he could to help the team get ready.
Yeah, you've got a great feeder program down there, and I know I seen you holding up a championship trophy. And if Mitchell will bring that up, did y'all win that? Y'all won that a couple of times, and was that trophy from 2 years ago?
I can't see the picture right now. Because
Okay.
I couldn't get back on, but we won the state championship down here in 2017. That was my first one. We were close a bunch of times, and I think one time we got knocked out in the fourth round like 4 straight years. And then we finally won one in 2017. And then we made it back and won another one in 2021. And that may be the picture you see.
Yeah.
I think it is.
And then last year we almost repeated. We went right back to it and lost a close game to Lakeland, 21-14. And so we were right there again. And, it's really fun to win them, but it really sucks to lose in the state championship game. I tell you that.
Yeah, and so you were up in Tallahassee, huh? Up here playing for the championship when they was doing all the classifications.
No. Our classes, the bigger schools played the next week in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay, very well. Okay. Man, those Dreadnoughts, man, there's something. But I know you got a heck of a program down there, and you just keep seeming to feed athletes, and y'all are in this thing every year. And like I said, I know you follow Bradford County, and we're trying to do the same thing. I've been fortunate since I've taken over for Terry Vaughn that my time calling on the radio with Chuck Kramer and WEAG, that we've been to the playoffs each and every year. And it seemed to progress. And the year that you won in 2017, we made it that year to the state semifinal game. And the Rains Vikings, unfortunately for us, came calling, and they whipped us pretty good. And then last year, I know you kept up with it a little bit. We made a heck of a run. We had a heck of a team last year, or this past year. And we're trying to, your old school is trying to do better, bigger and better things. And hopefully next year, we won't be one game short. Hopefully we'll be in that state championship game.
Absolutely, David.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I visited up there a couple of years ago. One of the parents, she had contacted me about speaking to the team, and I was home visiting my parents, and I was able to come in and kind of see the old school and see the new field and everything, and speak to some of the kids that were actually in town. The whole team wasn't there, unfortunately, because it was their week off over the summer. But yeah, I'm with you. I keep close tabs on the Tornadoes. I know my dad. He won 2 state championships at Bradford High. During in 66 and 67. So growing up in Bradford, growing up in Stark, that's all I wanted to do was play for the Tornadoes and have a chance to do what my dad did. And so I always, I call home all the time, and I'll call my mom after our game, give her an update, and she'll tell me my dad's been listening to you on the radio and give me an update on the Tornado score. So, and not, it's, on social media, it's easier to keep up with now how the Tornadoes are doing. But yeah, I think they're real close. I think they got a good staff, and it seems like, they got a lot of kids in the program and the community support. So it's exciting to see the Tornadoes doing well.
Yeah, absolutely, Larry. And I tell you, it's no funner time than to call a football game when you're winning. I'm sure your radio guy down there, he's enjoying these times because it's hard to talk about something when you're not winning and don't have a winning season, and you're still trying to bring enthusiasm to all your listeners, and that's a tough thing to do. And I'm knock on wood, I haven't had to do that. Byron is joining me. This is his first year color commentating. Kevin Howe had done it with me for the past 6 years, and he wanted to go into some ministry and some other things, which, hey, I ain't stopping anybody from doing anything. So, if you want to better yourself, for sure. But we've had a fun time with it.
Oh,
And
man, I had an absolute blast this year. David,
yeah,
doing that. I mean, it was incredible.
And
Yeah.
I tell you, Byron, anytime you want to take off, hey, I'm good for it.
yeah, Mitchell
Mitchell-
even got to call a couple of games too, and he said anytime that he wants to take off, that he can go ahead and take off because he don't mind stepping in the booth and doing it either.
Larry, what is your favorite part of coaching?
That's a great question. I just like mentoring the young men, and I know it's kind of cliche, but like I feel like I have an opportunity to kind of change their life a little bit, and just kind of watch them grow, and everybody likes to coach the 3 and 4 and 5-star recruit. That guy's fun to coach, but I enjoy coaching, everybody, especially the kids that are just going to play high school football and they're going to go be successful. And I want to help them be successful, be a successful husband, dad, and then, whatever they're going to do in life, keep them disciplined and, accountability and good character. And I enjoy kind of being able to watch these kids grow and become successful. Then they come back and they visit you, or they invite you to their weddings and things like that, and you get a chance to see that you had a difference in your life.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Brian. That was a great question. That's a great answer. You hear that all the time, that being part of these kids' lives and, trying to teach them, the things that and the mistakes that you don't want them to make. And when they just gather that in and soak that in and they go on and do their things and they come back and say and tell you, hey, coach, man, I just got my degree in so-and-so. That's the greatest feeling in the world. It's got to be.
Yeah, no doubt. That's why you do it. We joke around all the time about, you don't coach high school football for the money, obviously. And so you got to get something out of it. And that's kind of our reward. And obviously you want to win and be successful. But if you're doing all those things, you are going to win. You are going to be successful. And you hold your kids accountable. And that's what we do. And that's kind of like our tradition. And we've been able to develop a program. And the reason why I've stayed here so long is that I've had unbelievable input and autonomy to kind of instill some of the things that I've learned and I've done, and I'm the defensive coordinator, and I've been a defense coordinator for, 15 years, I believe. And because I've coached everything, I've tried to kind of, when I got into high school coaching, there was nothing I wouldn't do to help the team win and be successful. And I kind of, even though I was a wide receiver and an offensive player all those years, I coached offense for a while, but I started to kind of get a passion and an interest for defense. And so that's what I've been doing here, the last, 15 years, and I have a ball doing it.
Well, I tell you, Larry, being a wide receiver and coaching defense, they go together really well because you pretty much know by the setup of the offense what kind of plays they're going to run to get your defensive backs ready for those passes, either across the middle or someone's running a post. You can give them a lot of influence there because you've been there and you've played on that side of the ball.
Yeah, no doubt. It definitely helps. I mean, there's a lot of coaches out there that have done both and have a lot of knowledge. But when you know what teams are trying to do, because you've done that before, and you've coached that position, or you played that position, and so that definitely helps you understand what they're thinking. So that helps you prepare your team for what they're going to see each week.
Well, I hate the term skill players because I think all the players that are on the field are very skillful in what they do, no matter if it's defensive line, offensive line. But to talk more about your defensive backs and wide receivers, since you were involved in track and stuff in high school, is that one of the things that you try to get those players, the wide receivers and the defensive backs, to try to participate to help them with their strength in their legs and become faster on the field?
Yes, absolutely. Like right now, for example, we're in our season program, so we have a lot of kids that run track, and we actually have a good relationship with our track program. I actually coached track for a while when I moved down here. I was coaching football and track for a while, but we have a good relationship where kids are able to kind of be involved in the all-season football program and go run for the track team. We have some unique ways that we do the practices, and then with my background, everything that I play in college, I do a lot of like team speed work for the guys that don't run track. But to answer your question, yeah, obviously to play a wide receiver and DB position, you have to be able to run, and so we try to develop that as much as we can in the off season. And then being a receiver, I'm always coaching receivers no matter what. we have a receiver coach, and I'm always I'll find a kid on the field and that and he may have just torched us on in a practice, but I'll go and give him a way to get better, a way to do something to help him because I see it, because I played it and I've been coached doing it. And so I'm always coaching receivers, even though I'm involved mainly on the defensive side of the ball right now. But it's in my blood. But yeah, so we do a lot with that position, Mitchell. And the main thing we do is we try to get our kids to catch the ball as much as they can. We have one of those machines that a jug machine is called, where it.
Oh yeah.
They'll get 20 balls out there, a couple times a week, and we'll just feed them balls until their hands are sore. So, but that's a great question. But yeah, it definitely helps to be able to have that track aspect in your skill position.
Well, speaking of track and stuff, your high jump record is still safe.
Yes, it is.
At Bradford High School. And our decathlon record that, me and you were on the same team, that one is still safe as well. And I tell you what, man, we had a group of 4 guys that was just excellent and just an amazing team. And that record's going to be very hard to beat for a very long time.
And that's awesome to hear. My niece and nephew graduated Bradford High a few years ago, and they were giving me the update. I think it's hanging up around there somewhere, the high jump record, and then the decathlon, man, that was a good time. I don't know if you can find guys to be able to do that again. I think it was like June or May, and it was so hot, and we had to go there 2 days in a row and do all those events.
Yeah, 5 one day and 5 the next. I want to say we scored over. I set the record the year before with some guys, and then we went back with my junior year, and I believe that we had over 21,000 points. Is how many points that we had scored with us 4.
Wow.
So, and I tell you, it is very grueling. You can ask Larry. It is tough. You have to go home after that day, and you better get in the bathtub with ice and get ready because the next morning comes really quick.
Yeah, one thing I remember about that day and those 2 days together was how many athletes were at that track.
Yes.
So not only are you having to compete, you got to wait in line, and you have to wait for your heat and the time. It was a long process and a long day. But it was fun though. We did have some really good guys that we went over there, and that's great memories for me.
Oh yeah. Do you remember me high jumping and missing the whole mat and landing on the track?
I do remember that.
Hey, I still cleared it, and I was good.
Hey, it's good.
I just missed the mat.
There you go. Hey, Larry. Again, on the spot with David Rodgers. Larry Shannon is our guest tonight. Again, I want to thank you for joining us, taking time out from your family and your busy schedule. Let's talk a little football. Y'all got y'all schedule out, right? Already, you know who y'all are playing next year.
Yeah, we're still trying to fine tune it.
Okay.
You know, when you win a championship and then almost win another one,
Yep.
it's hard to get teams to play.
Yes, it is.
So our schedule's almost done. I think we're still looking for 1 or 2 more games, but we pretty much got it done.
Well, Larry, I'm going to go ahead and throw something out to you. I don't know if you got it filled or not, but if you've been looking on Facebook and following Coach Staples and Coach Rodgers, ours is almost pretty well done, except a kickoff classic. Do you have a kickoff classic opponent? Man, wouldn't it be nice for Venice and Bradford to play in a kickoff classic?
Hey, I've thought about that several times.
That sounds cool.
When I seen that Bradford were looking for games, we do have a kickoff classic.
Okay. Okay. So you're still looking for a couple of regular season games.
Yeah, I think we just need one more regular season game to kind of. We had to make a lot of changes to our schedule. You know, we played a couple we played a couple of national games last year. We played IMG, their national team. Then we played we actually had an ESPN game, and we played a team out of Baltimore, Maryland, St. Francis Academy, who was like an IMG.
Yeah.
So we're not playing those guys this year. So we had to fill some holes in our schedule, and some of it, you know, typically your schedule stays the same on a 2-year deal, and you play the same teams on a 2-year contract, and we had to make a little bit of changes. So we're still looking for one more game, I believe, just to kind of get it all finalized.
Yeah. Boy, it sure would have been nice if you said you had a kickoff classic open, man, because I was like, hey, that would be good. Coach Shannon and Coach Jamie Rodgers going at it. Hey, ex-Tornado coaching that team down there, and that would have been pretty awesome.
That would have been awesome. But you never know. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. There you go. That's exactly right. Byron, you got anything else for the coach?
Well, Larry, I did want to ask something a little bit off topic. Who do you got in the NFL for the Super Bowl?
I knew that was coming.
Well, I think the way that they've been playing, I think you have to say the Eagles. They represent the NFC, and I kind of like the Chiefs. I just kind of like the way they play a little bit, you know, with Mahomes and Kelsey, and I like their coach. I like Andy Reid. So I would like to see the Chiefs beat the Eagles, you know, in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Well, Dave, do you have something to say to Larry about that?
I'm just wondering, have you had your eye on the Bengals?
No, I have.
Yes.
That's my team. I'm from Ohio. Go Bengals!
They're very impressive.
They are.
No, they've impressed me over the last several years.
I was a little nervous, you know, unsure about the way they started the season.
Yep.
And even all the injuries and everything they had, man, it's impressive. And you know, they got all those weapons, so it could be interesting on Sunday in Kansas City. You know, especially if Mahomes isn't healthy.
Yep. Yeah. If he's got that high ankle sprain, ooh, you're exactly right, Larry. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Do want to ask you something else. I know East Carolina Pirate through and through. Who's your other college team? You got another college favorite that you like?
Oh yeah, you can't grow up 20 minutes from Gainesville. You know.
Knew it, Byron.
In my family, I know there's a lot of Florida State fans in Bradford County, but you know, we were Gators. And my dad's a diehard Gator. I mean, he don't just watch Gator football; he watches Gator basketball, Gator softball, Gator baseball. We just been Gators growing up, and obviously, when I was in high school, it would have been a dream to go into play in UF, and I visited over there several times and, went to camp over there. And I think you guys said it earlier, the way that we ran the ball at Bradford High back in those days, didn't really have the stats. And,
Right.
to go, to get recruited and get signed a scholarship to Gainesville, to UF. But so to answer your question, yeah, definitely UF fan.
Okay, gotcha. All right, Dave. Anybody else got any more questions for Larry? Mitchell, you got one?
No, I'm just going to tell him, hey, if you want to come up here for the Gator Nationals, man, come on up.
There you go.
I'll meet up with you. We'll have a good old time out there.
Larry, you're always welcome to come back on the show anytime you want to,
Absolutely.
whether it's in football season or not. If you want to come on and talk Bradford County sports, or if you want to come on and talk Venice sports, you're more than welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I hate that we got a kind of a rough start there with the question and answering when the video wasn't working. But I would enjoy that anytime. I like to talk sports and definitely like to talk, about the kids and the coaches and everything that's going on in Bradford County. And I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a long journey for me, being, growing up in Bradford County and and just wanting to go play football. And I there were some basketball opportunities a little bit. It's a smaller schools, but there was a goal to go be a college football player. And never had the thought that would lead to getting drafted one day. I did, it didn't really even seem like a possibility until like the junior year of college when, one of my coaches said something to me like, if you have a year like that, you're going to get drafted high. And that's when it kind of came a reality. And then everything just kind of fell into place. And, unfortunately, I didn't play as long as I wanted to, and I used to have a lot of resentment about that. Like, it used to really bother me, having the injuries and not fulfilling that dream. But I think everything's meant to be, and things happen for a reason. And I think that I'm where I should be now, and doing the things I love to do, and I got like you said, I got a wonderful family that, thought about moving back to Bradford County a few times, but it was hard to, we had these roots down here in Venice, Sarasota County. It was hard to kind of make a move, but yeah, I would love to be back on anytime you guys would have me.
Absolutely, and thank you. I've got two questions before I leave. Well, one question, and then I want to throw something out to you. As you're coming up on the 2023 football season, everybody that's in this room, we're football connoisseurs, definitely, and we keep up with what you're doing down there. And it's unfortunate that Friday nights for all of us are busy because we're doing a radio broadcast. You're coaching, so you have to catch up maybe a day later or whatever what the Tornadoes do, and we see what Venice is doing. Give me a couple of players that we should watch out for, and maybe we can talk about on our radio broadcast.
A couple players from Venice?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, well, we just had a 5-star defensive end signed with Georgia. So
Wow.
We had a really, really, really good high school, one of the best, like the 5-star DN. He just signed with Georgia, so that kind of tells you what type of player he was. But this year, we have two really good running backs, Alvin Johnson and the other one's name. We call him Gator. I got to think of his first name for a second, but Jamar's Wilder. They're like a two-headed monster. They're going to be really, really good because we have our entire offensive line coming back. If you know how that works. And then our biggest question mark is going to be quarterback. We lost our quarterback, and so we have two potential all-stars at quarterback. They're going to be battling it out, and so I think as we move forward, whoever our quarterback is going to be kind of he's going to make waves around the state because we have two really good ones.
Alvin Johnson, senior, junior, will be senior.
He'll be a senior.
Okay, will be. And how about Gator there?
Gator will be a junior. Gator's already got several offers already. So those two kids will kind of they'll be they've got a two-headed monster there at running back, so they'll be making noise all year.
All right, Coach, I want to throw a couple of names to you. You probably already know this because I know you're a football connoisseur. So we got several guys that got some Division I offers. I know you know some of the Cummings. So we got a kid named Khalil Cummings. Do you know him?
Yeah, well, I know him. Just keeping tabs with Twitter, and I see that he's heavily recruited right now, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, 4-star right now. Florida State actually flew in. I think you've seen that. Norvell was here and flew in on a helicopter just to see him. But he's seen some others as well. How about the name Torin Brazil? We call him the one-man wrecking crew.
I'm not familiar with him.
He plays defensive end and linebacker. This kid, I'm telling you, Coach, this kid is unbelievable. He's made some plays that me and Byron, I don't know how we called them on the radio. And then you probably know Chasen Clark.
Yes, I'm very familiar with him, and through social media and everything,
right.
I see that he looks like he's going to be a highly recruited fella and doing very well.
Yep, and then we got a junior running back, which will be a senior. Like I said, Manny Cubby's going to play in Cincinnati, but he reminds me, or at least of your Johnson and your Gator here. His name is Willie Pollard. This kid is 5'10", 5'11", 175. And, Coach, I'm telling you, if you've seen any of this kid's highlights, he don't try to go around you. He runs you over. And I don't know how a kid does that, Coach, at 175 pounds.
I have seen some highlights of him, especially when you guys were making the run in the playoffs last year. I know he was having some big games and some big runs.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Big legs.
Big legs, yeah, he does. Probably like these two young men here have. So, well, Coach, we're going to stay in touch. Anytime you're up here, you're welcome to come on. You don't even have to ask. Just stop by. If you and the family are visiting family here, you can come on by. We'll try to get you on here as football season, definitely as spring. When spring comes around, maybe you can update us of what's going on down there, and we can give you an update what's going on here. But I could just hear it in your voice, Byron, Mitchell, Dave. I could hear it in Coach Shannon's voice, how proud he is not only of his program down there, but how proud he is of the Tornado program and how you follow it, Larry. And we're very, very appreciative of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thank you for that. And absolutely. Tornado for life, I guess you can call it.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. So, have you? I'm sure your mom and dad. One more thing. Did they tell you how excited that me and Byron get on the radio? Or have you heard any of that?
Yes.
Oh,
all positive though.
All positive, yeah, all positive. We hope. I'm telling you, some of these plays, man, you just can't call without getting excited. But I wanted to tell you, and I know you know him, and Byron and Mitchell want to interject here. Terry Vaughn, when he retired and they, asked me if I wanted to do it, he's a legend. And I tell you, he and Rick Craig used to call some great, great, great ball games. And Terry was so knowledgeable, and so was Rick, and they made a good partnership for 20 years. They were just, they brought it like they seen it. And I was wondering, because I'm an upbeat guy. So is Kevin, and so is Byron and Mitchell. I was wondering how that was going to translate over the radio and the listening audience. But I tell you, Larry, I appreciate what you said. We've had nothing but compliments about it.
Yeah, well, Terry Vaughn has some big shoes to fill, so it seems like you're doing a great job. Terry Vaughn, I've known him, since I've been in high school. He was a mentor to me and a great friend of the family, and I always enjoyed every time I came home. I'd always go by and visit Terry at his office there.
Yeah,
I know he's retired and he's moved on, but yes, you definitely have some big shoes to fill there, replacing him. But from what I hear, you guys are doing outstanding.
Larry, just to clarify, just to let you and everybody know, and your family know, I'm not the one that clips the mics at the football game.
Oh, Larry, you see he's throwing that on, don't you?
Hey, Larry, to tell you the truth, one night I had to text David and tell him, I said, man, you got to calm down. No one can hear a word that you are saying.
Just getting too excited, Larry. That's all. Hey, tornado, like you said, through and through.
That's right.
Someone needs to put a pop filter on that mic.
Whew.
Yeah. It's always better to ask for forgiveness later,
There you go. There you go. That's right. That's right. Well, Larry, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it. Like I said, you have an invite anytime. You can reach out to myself, Mitchell, Byron, Dave, whoever you can get a hold of. And we wish you and your family good luck and continued success down there. And we'll be in touch for sure.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Bye, Larry.
All right.
Bye.
That was Larry Shannon, ladies and gentlemen. Bradford's on. I tell you, we'll come back and talk about that. Let's pay some bills real quick. We're going to go to this commercial break, and we'll come back and wrap up the show here in just a few minutes.
Hey, Tornado fans, this is Kurt Miracle of Miracle Automotive and Towing, proud sponsors of Tornado Football. I want to welcome you to beautiful Stark, Florida and David Hurst Stadium, and thank you for letting us be a part of this community. We're here for more than your automotive and towing needs. We're here to be part of Tornado Country. Go Big Red!
All right, back here with On the Spot with David Rodgers. I'm your host, David Rodgers, right alongside the Byron Bagwell. Producing the show tonight is the very one and only host of On the Spot Motorsports Media, Mr. Mitchell Gunner. That page is blowing up, by the way, Byron.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. And, of course, Super Dave Holland, the Dancer Destroyer back there helping him, and Austin Stevens with the weather. Man, Byron, guys, that was a great interview. What a great knowledge that guy has. I've always had respect for him. Like I said, I really didn't know him, Byron, really personally or whatever, just through some messages and here and there. But what a great person Larry Shannon is, and down there coaching and mentoring young men. What more can you ask for? And, he said, there was something that he said that sort of resonated with me a little bit, and I don't know if you caught it. He said that he sort of resembles sometimes that he didn't get a chance to play 10 years in NFL or whatever. But, like he said, things happen for a reason. Guess what? He got drafted. He got drafted. He got to get out there and play. He got to get out there and practice. Some people don't even get to see an NFL stadium or even play on practice squads. And Larry was part of two teams. And, man, I tell you, I would have cared about. I wish I could have played. Well, how many ever games he played for those injuries?
You know how much I love football. I never got on a football field.
Exactly. And as much as you love it, yeah.
I played other sports and did some other things, but I didn't have size. What do you do with a 5'10", 160-pound, 155-pound wing?
You put him on special teams.
That didn't have speed.
Oh, you don't put him on special teams. Then
I mean,
you could have been a gunner.
I had arm
Not
strength.
mental
I
gunner.
could throw a football, but I couldn't. When you have somebody that's 6'5" standing in front of you,
Well,
you're not throwing over the
all right,
top of
okay,
them.
hang on a minute.
Especially in a system where you just turn around and hand the ball off like it was.
Yeah, you were throwing blocks, but now Mitchell played.
I played a year semi-pro.
See, okay, semi-pro, but you never played for the Tornadoes.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, but you
So-
have speed though. See, that's the thing.
That's the difference.
And I
So-
went from weighing 144 pounds to 185 with a 29-inch waist too.
See,
Yeah.
because you was working out, you were lifting, you were cut, man. You had to you could withstand the hits. Like Byron said, when you're not prepared for that, are you going to go out there and let some 250-pound linebacker come out and just blast you on a kickoff return? No, absolutely not.
Creatine and pump iron.
There you go. But
Let's
anyway,
see, it was a little bit backwards with the way we did lots of reps with light weights for the sports that I played because we didn't need muscle mass. We needed endurance and
Right.
strength.
I know we're getting close to time here. That was a great interview, by the way. Thank you, Larry, for coming on. And again, if you didn't get a chance to see that, you can go back and watch it on Facebook, and you can go back and watch it tomorrow at 7:00 on YouTube. So,
Weather permitting, FYI.
weather permitting, as our guru says, I think the weather will permit, Austin. I think you'll be able to get it on. I have faith in you, sir. I have.
You should, just so you know, I'll call you if it go. If it
Of course, he's going to call me, David,
If
and
it
it's
all
not
hits-
going to be on YouTube.
If it all hits the fan, so you know,
Right.
it's on record.
All right, let's go with the weather real quick. Why don't you give us a final weather report? And then I'm going to go around the table. Byron, we didn't get to this subject tonight, but I want you to tease, as soon as he gives the weather, what we were going to talk about.
And I want to do one more quick thing.
Okay.
Also, real quick.
All right.
All right, so Biloxi, Mississippi, and New Orleans, Louisiana, as of 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. We have thunderstorms closing in. Mississippi, you'll start hearing them. Light rain will overtake Pascagoula, Mississippi by 10 p.m. tonight. Let that not fool you. The worst is still yet to come over the night between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. In Pascagoula, Mississippi. These storms are moving off to the east and northeast. The line's moving at about 45 to 55 miles an hour. Storms are racing up to 80 miles per hour. So tornadoes could be quick and sudden. That's why Ted be weather aware. This storm line will move through Alabama by 3 a.m. and be in the panhandle of Florida by 4 in the morning. It'll move through Tallahassee by 7 a.m. and be in our neck of the woods. It'll slow down a little bit, but it'll be in our neck of the woods between the unfortunate drive home around 5 p.m. tomorrow evening.
Oh, boy. All right, Austin, thank you for that weather report. And hopefully, like you said, that the weather allows you to be able to do that. But if not,
there's two ingredients, David.
okay.
We're expecting a high of 83 in Bradford. If our dew point is 70, with that dry, cold air behind this front, I am not going to say it, knock on wood. It doesn't happen, but 2020 Christmas Eve, we had this recipe, and there was a tornado that tore half of a roof off near Keystone Heights.
Yeah, and then there was a couple others that came through here as well that ripped up some stuff that you can still see on 100 as I go by there.
That's never a good combination.
No, that's never not.
Needless to say, it's gonna rain.
It's going to rain.
It's gonna rain, and we're gonna have wind speeds between 20 to 30 with gusts up to 45 as of now. But if you do wake up tomorrow morning and see a high wind warning from the National Weather Service, just secure all your lawn furniture tonight.
David, real quick, do you have anything to close out the show before I turn it over to nothing? Just thank you, by the way, for helping out with everything and being a part of. I know Mitchell's, because of what we were trying to do, took over most of the producing duties, but you helped get this thing created, and we really appreciate it. Mitchell, a final thought.
Oh, what's the weather going to be like Saturday, Austin,
Oh, there
and
you
Sunday? Because me and David, we're going to be at Gainesville Raceway
Yeah.
live streaming the racing action for the first and second Summit ET race.
We will be looking at a nice clear skies. Well, actually, not
Really?
rain in the way. There will not be any rain. Tomorrow will be the rainy day. The weather will actually cooperate and clear up.
High of?
I'm looking right this sec.
Okay.
I'm gonna be doing
I'm
a
gonna
dance.
say, I'm gonna say 77.
Y'all are going to say 77.
I'm going to be doing a dance if that happens.
I'm gonna say
I've got a fishing
65.
tournament
The
to go do.
high's only going to be 66.
Oh, nice job, Mitchell. Is that,
Maybe.
how's that for the cars?
And at night, 47.
Track surface to be fine at that temp.
And
Okay.
then
Yes.
tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on Sunday, it'll be cloudy during the day. The high will be 77, and at night it'll be 58
There's
with
a
rain
77.
showers.
That's
Sure.
what night?
Sunday.
Sunday night, 80% rain showers at night.
All right.
I'll tell you late.
Oh, go ahead. And you had a couple of things. Why don't you go ahead and tease? By the way, what he's going to tease, let me just go ahead and say it. I know we didn't do trivia. We are going to have, and the answer is, I hope you're watching this. And the answer is going to be documents. Byron will explain.
Yes.
Yes.
Once again, we have found classified documents
Mhm.
inside of a garage,
Uh-huh.
Yours?
inside of the
Nope.
president's house.
Well, maybe.
Now, my question to you, to everybody, and some of the national talk show hosts are talking about this. Why are we not hearing any more about the original classified documents that were found in basically his archives in a college? What are those doing in a school that's funded by China? You start following the money, you start figuring out that those classified documents, and they came from the Barack Obama era, have something to do with a money trail, and most likely it leads to, guess where? The Ukraine. I'm not going any further than that.
Right.
I'm going to leave that completely alone.
That would be the University of Delaware, by the way. Yeah,
well,
so there you go.
Oops.
Sorry, I let it slip.
If we ever find out what's in those documents, it will spell the end for that whole family.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if that happens. Doubt very seriously that it will, but we'll see if that happens.
All right.
The next thing I'm going to go and ask everybody, and this is for everybody,
Everybody.
your Super Bowl picks. Who do you think
Oh.
wins the Super Bowl?
Oh, got it. Okay. Go ahead, David. The Bengals
all the way.
or the Eagles and the 49ers on the other side.
49ers.
Cincinnati and San Francisco. Okay, not a bad pick. What do you got, Mitch?
Well, being a NFC following football team, the Dallas Cowboys that got whipped this well, they didn't get whipped.
No, it was a good
Lost
game.
against San Francisco. Just Dak Prescott just made one too many mistakes.
Interception. There was a couple of interceptions.
Can't throw interceptions
No,
in
you
a
cannot.
playoff game.
No.
And that was pretty much their downfall. But defensively, they played a really good
Absolutely.
game. The 49ers did.
Mm-hmm.
But the only other thing is Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Very mobile, can make
Mhm.
things happen very rapidly. He can
Mhm.
use his legs and beat you.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, if they don't put the middle linebacker on watching Jalen,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a long day for the 49ers. So I think that's probably going to happen. So I'm going to have to say the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, I say it's going to be the Bengals. I
the
think
Bengals and the Eagles.
Yep.
Dave likes the Bengals and
Yep.
the Eagles.
I just don't think Mahomes is
he
going to
likes
be
the 49ers, right?
Mahomes is not going to be all that mobile because he's going to have to nurse that high ankle sprain.
He plays.
He said he's going to play, and I think
I
he
know
will.
he is, but is he going to hurt his team more by playing if he's got to hobble around to everything?
Or himself,
Well,
the way the Bengals are playing.
He finished
Right
out that
now.
game, and
He did.
so
He did. But, when you get that, you continue playing that day. It's the aftermath that gets you. It's the following day. Remember when he said, we're going to be watching the other games? I bet when he went over to Kelsey's house or whenever they came over to his house, I can assure you that was hurting.
Yeah, a high ankle sprain.
Oh, man. All right.
David?
I agree with what you said. You got the number one, number two defense playing against each other. That's Philadelphia and San Francisco. Both can play D. Man, you got to give the home field advantage to the Eagles for sure.
got to give props to Fletcher Cox.
Yep. And I tell you, that defense, their offense, they're clicking on all cylinders right now. Frisco had trouble at home with Dallas, but something tells me, man, that McCaffrey Purdy is going to be, he's the whole key. If Purdy has a good game and can keep him out of trouble, I think they have enough weapons and enough defense. I like San Francisco in a close game at Philly. And, man, how can you go against the Bengals? Jesus. They dominated Buffalo at Buffalo. They have beaten Kansas City at Kansas City. I'm going with the Bengals. I like to see the Bengals and the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
All right. I'm going to echo most of y'all's sentiments. I wholeheartedly believe the Bengals are going to physically dominate the Chiefs, and they are going to the Super Bowl. That team that I saw, the Buffalo, was extremely physical. And if they are that physical against the Chiefs, guess who won't play the whole entire game? And then it's going to be lights out because the quarterback that they're going to bring in, and as Jacksonville very well remembers, is a sitting duck in the backfield. So give me the Bengals.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, I haven't seen, and I in recent history, a more complete, more deep team than the Eagles.
Yeah.
Their defense is great. They've got depth on defense. They play very physically, and their offense is clicking on all cylinders, and they have got depth in their offense too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take the Eagles and the Bengals.
So Dave took who?
Bengals and the 49ers.
Just like I did. So we got 2 Bengals, 2 49ers, and y'all two had the same pick too, right?
Yeah, I don't know how
So,
you pick against that Eagles team.
I didn't want to, man, but something just tells me, man. McCaffrey didn't have a great game last week, and something tells me, man, he's going to explode. But he can't be the only one that explodes. There's going to have to be Deebo Samuel, the rest of those running backs, those other receivers. And Purdy's got to put the money. Purdy's got to. He cannot make mistakes against that team.
Their offensive line has to block that.
Yes.
Block that defensive
Yes.
line and those linebackers from the Eagles.
Yeah.
Or he'll be on his back the whole time.
Yeah, and then you can't throw the ball off your back.
They're going to face a defense pretty similar to Dallas's.
Oh, yeah. Both of those defenses are similar to me. Frisco's and the Eagles. They're 1 and 2. Philadelphia's 1, Frisco's 2. And it's anyway, you're right. It could happen. It could.
You saying McCaffrey can go? McCaffrey can go off.
Yeah.
And if he does, that may be the key to the football game. Because McCaffrey, I don't care what anybody says.
I don't care what anybody says either. I'm with you.
That is a great running back.
Oh my God.
It's just unbelievable.
I cannot believe that Carolina, and I thought y'all were going to get him there for a while.
Oh my
Dallas
God.
was pushing. Dallas was pushing to get him. And I don't know why the trigger wasn't pulled there. If they had Christian McCaffrey, y'all would be right now being talked about. Y'all would be playing Philadelphia or somebody.
Well, the thing that disappointed me was, Dak had a couple opportunities to throw the ball to Hilton, and he didn't throw it to him, and he was open. I mean, he was wide open. Settled down on this route, open space. He done everything he's supposed to, and just the ball was not delivered.
As a Cowboys fan, and I'll freely admit that was my first team. Dallas has been. I followed Dallas since I was 5 years old and watched Pittsburgh beat them in the Super Bowl and got myself in trouble for kicking the TV. Actually happened too. I got.
Yeah, I'll have to ask your mom about that.
Rear end torn up over that one.
Yeah,
but I'm just going to be honest with you. Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. Dak Prescott is not a great quarterback. He is not the type of quarterback who is going to lead your team by himself in the playoffs and win you football games. He's just not that good.
He should have used his legs more in that game, and because there was opportunities.
There was.
Well,
he took a couple of them, but I think they should have took more risk and running the ball, and then the whole debacle with the
what was that about?
The kicking the ball. I mean, they just. I don't know what happened there, but either way, the game was lost. I mean, no matter what they did, I mean, it wasn't going to help.
I don't see Dak Prescott as a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I just don't see him doing that. Now, could he win a Super Bowl like some of the other
Sure.
quarterbacks that are doing
Yeah.
this good? I mean, take a look at Tampa Bay, what they did when they won their first Super Bowl and who they
Mhm.
won it with.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can win it with a game manager, but you have to have incredibly good defenses. You have to have an incredibly good running game.
You remember when Baltimore won that? They had a great defense. And who was their quarterback? Joe Flacco, wasn't it?
Flacco.
Was it Flacco?
Was it Flacco or was it the guy
It was,
still playing for him?
Flacco actually didn't play. It was another guy. Was it? It's one of those boys that's an analyst now. Hasselbeck. Was it
Yeah.
Hasselbeck? One of the
Was it
Hasselbeck boys.
Matt Hasselbeck?
It
Maybe
was.
it was
You
Matt.
remember?
I don't.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have great defenses like the Ravens did, and good running game. You can win Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But if you don't have both,
Well, you know, the big thing was a lot of people was worrying because, you know, Dak came in, he started throwing a lot of interceptions. But,
Yeah.
you know, the coach, he doesn't want to hold him back.
no,
You know,
No,
too much.
not at all.
But it was really funny, you know, when Dak went out, Cooper Rush came in. Cooper Rush done a jam up job
I actually like
as
Cooper
filling
Rush.
those shoes, and you know he only had that one loss. You know, some of those teams were not the strongest teams in their schedule,
but he's still winning NFL games.
He's still winning NFL
and he
football
did,
games.
and he did not turn the ball over.
Well,
I'm with you. I actually like Cooper Rush. And I'm going to tell you something else, too. Y'all are probably going to kick me in the pants when I say this. Get rid of Ezekiel Elliott. Get what you can for him. And let Pollard be your running back.
Well-
to me, Pollard is the better running back in all phases of the game.
They're two different style backs,
I
and that's why they're
understand.
keeping him because they want Zeke for those short yardage situations and those, you know,
Zeke has been a
third
cough-up machine
third
lately, though.
gold at your third and
Willie-
gold on the two.
I want to call him Willie Pollard, but
He
it's
really
not Willie
hasn't. He
Pollard.
really hasn't turned the ball over that much this year.
More than usual.
But
I know he takes punts, man. I get it. He's your he's a power back.
he's your hand.
Yep.
He's your hammer.
Yep.
And when he's your hammer,
even though he has the RB behind his name, he's actually a
yeah,
FB, a fullback.
he is.
So
He could lead Pollard. I'll tell you what, you hand the ball to him a couple of times and then let him block for Pollard, that team would be unstoppable, Gus. With that line?
He wasn't very good against that that defensive lineman though on that last play.
No,
with
he
that
wasn't.
no.
No, he wasn't.
But
Yeah.
Pancaked.
No, he wasn't. Yeah.
I watched that team and I just wonder how long he's going to be there. And I'm not talking about Zeke. I'm talking
Pollard?
I'm talking about
Dak.
Prescott. Yeah.
He's going to play next year. I mean, he's supposed to be the franchise player, and they paid him the money, so he better get out there on the field, and he better start getting
I'm
timing
with you,
down,
Gus.
getting his timing down with his wide receivers. I mean, him and CD Lamb, they're pretty much on the same page.
They
They're
are.
pretty good.
Hey, CD
Gallup?
Lamb's an
They have
incredible
great
wide
receiver.
Gallup, Michael Gallup, another great wide receiver. I mean, great catches. Make sure his feet's inbound all the
Tons
time.
of speed.
Just make some spectacular catches
Mhm.
this past year. And of course, now they went out and they got Hilton.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they'll retain him.
I think you'll see Hilton. You ain't gonna see him as every play wide receiver.
No.
He's gonna come in on third downs. He's gonna be your possession receiver.
Oh yeah.
Hey, whether it's Prescott or Cooper Rush, they're gonna look for him
And,
on third
and a
downs.
lot of things, you know, you look at their height and stuff, you would wonder because they lined up CeeDee Lamb in the slot, and I was like, man, what?
It's matchups.
Why wouldn't you match him
It's
outside and put Hilton inside where he's a little bit more mobile and catch him over the middle?
Did you hear what Byron said? It's about matchups.
It's about matchups.
It's about matchups.
I mean, your
But I agree.
you'll end up with a safety or a linebacker on him coming across the middle, and that's just so horribly.
Not always though.
No, that's true.
They were pretty good about matching up very well against them, the 49ers. They was not letting that get a little screwed up there.
And I'm going to say one more thing before I give it over to you, David.
Uh-huh.
It has been since the 90s since I have been able to say this. Jacksonville Jaguars
Oh wow.
I am
Man.
truly looking forward to next year.
Me too.
This team has a bright future without major injuries to key players.
Yep.
And we're getting another really good free agent next year.
Yes, we are.
That team, what they did in that first round playoffs, has happened 5 times in NFL history and only 3 times in the playoffs with that deficit that they came back from. That is a special quarterback doing that. That is a special team doing that. Just a little bit more depth.
Yep.
Just a little bit more depth in this team is going to be set for playoffs for a long time.
All right, guys. Hey, it's about that time. I want to thank Larry Shannon for coming on and being our special guest. What a great interview he was. I hope y'all found that entertaining. If you didn't get a chance to watch the show live, you can go back and watch it on Facebook. Hopefully tomorrow, weather barring, as my man said, we'll have it on YouTube.
We're going to try. We're going to try.
He said we're going to try. So that's all I can ask from him. And again, Byron, I want to thank you for joining us. It's been what, about a month?
It's been 2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks, at least 3, right?
Yeah, it's been 2 or 3 weeks.
I want to thank you for joining us tonight. I'm glad that you were sitting in the seat. Dave Holland, want to thank you for being here as well, as always, helping produce the show, direct the show, and also want to thank Mr. Mitchell Gunner for filling in tonight as we use StreamYard for the show tonight. I know we had a couple of glitches, but you know what? Mitchell said, I can fix it. Dave said, we can fix it. Put him on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Was just as good as new. Mitchell, real quick, is there an on-the-spot motorsports show this week?
We are trying to work on it.
Okay.
So trying to get somebody on.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll have that stuff nailed down by tomorrow, and we'll start pushing it out and advertising it.
On the Spots Motorsports Media with your host, Mitchell Gunner. He's got a new co-host he's going to be introducing to you. If that show goes down, please visit that page. And also, please visit On the Spot with David Rodgers, as we've got two great shows. On behalf of Byron Bagwell, Mr. Austin Stevens, Mr. Dave Holland, Mr. Mitchell Gunner, and myself. Great rest of the week, and we will see you same back time, same back channel. That's next Tuesday for you, Byron.